Hi, my name is Rachel Gearing. This is my third year on staff as a counselor for summer staff, and I have a super cool story to share with you guys. It not only impacted my life, but a camper's life, and as I'm sharing it to other people, it's impacted their lives. So I thought I might as well share it with you guys. When I was a little girl, probably around 9 or 10, I grew up with a neighbor who had a drug addict daughter. I was familiar with them and they were familiar with us. Fast forward a little bit, she ends up getting married and ends up getting pregnant. She becomes sober for a little bit, and that's when our relationship gets a little bit better. She ends up having the baby and giving birth, but the state of California took the baby away from her history with drugs, that she was no longer eligible to be a mother for this child. But while she was pregnant, she would come over to our house and spend time with us. We would make her dinner, just trying to take care of her in a way that she might not have been cared for before. And so when the baby got taken away, at 9 years old, I was always wondering what happened to that child. Like, did they get in foster care? Are they going from home to home? Are they adopted? Or are they just like in another state completely? I have no relation with this kid, and so always wondered what happened to that baby. And fast forward all the way to junior high camp week 1. It was Friday morning, last cabin discussion of the week, and we're about to send them off back with their parents back home. And my camper, she decides to share her adoption story. She tells us that her mom was a drug addict and her dad ended up going to jail. And I was putting the pieces together. I was like, wait, this is super similar to my story. And so I kind of asked her some more questions on like what her parents were like. And she said that her dad went to jail, and then her mom a couple years later ended up ODing. And I was like, okay, that is a significant part of the story, that it just has to be the same person. So I finally asked her her parents' names and then her grandpa's name, and it turns out that she was the child that was born from my neighbor, and she ended up being in my cabin that week. It was just a crazy story that throughout the whole week she didn't want to share her adoption story, but as she was leaving she wanted to share. And she didn't know Jesus her whole entire life, but she came to know Jesus and accepted Jesus into her life that week. Super impactful to me, but what really clicked for me was ever since I found out that that baby was born and taken away from her mom, I had been praying for that baby, praying that it was okay, wondering whatever happened to it, and for God to be so faithful to put that child into my cabin and to show her what Jesus is like and what Jesus can offer her was so impactful. That God is so intentional with who he places here at Mount Gilead and who he places campers with and counselors with is just so intentional, and that God is just so amazing. And so that's my story that I wanted to share with you guys, and it has impacted my life so much on how God is so intentional and so faithful to his promises, and that prayers never go wasted. So thank you for your time.